I was a soldier, then a veteran, a husband, and a father. And with my VA home loan, I'm a homeowner. No down payment required and no PMI. Build your future with the VA home loan. Get what you earn. Visit choose.va.gov.
Not all veterans are eligible for this hyper amount of benefits mentioned here.
It's time for Michigan's newest sports talk show, Mitten Madness.
And here he goes. Defense win championship.
Michigan sports talk from here in Battle Creek. The latest stories, the biggest games, all across the Mitten State.
That's not something you play with.
Streaming live and on demand on the 95.3 WBCK app. Here are your hosts, Jacob Harrison and Da'Jzon Hughes.
Happy Saturday morning. Welcome back into Mitten Madness on 95.3 WBCK. I am Da'Jzon Hughes, and I'm your lone host that talks to you about everything happening in the sports world in the state of Michigan. Last week was fun. A lot of great things have happened. Obviously, we had the MLB All-Star game that went down, had tons of Tigers making an appearance, and that was always fun to see. But this week, we got tons to dive into. We're talking the Tigers coming out of the MLB All-Star break. We'll also talk about the All-Star game and how those events went for the Tigers, and then what we expect from the Tigers moving forward. Then we're going to dive into the Pistons Summer League and how that has gone for them so far. Tons of success and lots of bright young stars looking to make their way into the Pistons rotation over the next couple of years. And then we'll touch on the ESPYs, talk about the winners, who was there, who wasn't, and maybe some questionable decisions by the voters. And then, of course, we'll get into our picks to end out the show. But as always, just letting y'all know, life's doing good for me. Recording this on Thursday, to be transparent, as always, normally on Friday, but taking some time to go and enjoy some professional lacrosse. I will be out in Fairfield, Connecticut this weekend. Games are Friday night, Saturday night, so I'm going to be hitting the road early, if you get what I'm saying. So that's why some of this may sound outdated by the time Saturday rolls around, but transparency is key. I had my last summer tournament last weekend, so bittersweet feeling as my team did not come out on top, but we did have an amazing season. There was progress all year. We had a positive record for the summer, and I enjoyed the time, and they did too. It's always bittersweet seeing them leave and for the last time of the summer and knowing that I won't see them for quite some time. But, hey, that's what being a coach is all about. Now that has been said, it's time for us to dive into the best team in baseball. It's the Detroit Tigers. Still, right before the break, they went in as the number one overall seed at 59-38, just a game above the Dodgers. And I'll tell you why that ended up being the case, because the last time we talked, they were 3 games ahead of the Dodgers, and then they ended up only being a game ahead. But, you know, the Dodgers are sitting in second at 58-39. Chicago Cubs are 57-39 for a game and a half back from the Tigers for third place. Houston Astros are fourth in the league, 2.5 games back at 56-40. They're tied with the Brewers, 2.5 games back. And tied for fifth are the Blue Jays and the Phillies. Well, I guess that technically puts them in sixth at 55-41, 3.5 games back from the Tigers. When we break down some of these divisions, starting with ours truly, the Detroit Tigers in the AL Central, they're 11.5 games ahead of the Twins, who are 47-49. The Royals are 47-50 for 12 games back. The Cleveland Guardians also 12 games back at 46-49. And the Chicago White Sox trudging along, 32-65, 27 games behind our Detroit Tigers. The AL West, Houston Astros lead at 56-40. The Seattle Mariners are 51-45, 5 games back from the Astros. The Texas Rangers are 8.5 games back at 48-49 to rank out the top 3 for the AL West. Top 3 in the AL East, the Toronto Blue Jays 55-41. The Yankees are 2 games back at 53-43, and those Red Sox are 3 games back at 53-45. Turning things over to the NL, the Philadelphia Phillies lead the NL East at 55-41. A half game behind them are the Mets at 55-42. The Marlins 10.5 games back from the Phillies at 44-51. The Chicago Cubs at the top of the NL Central at 57-39. The Brewers are 1 game back at 56-40, and the Cardinals 6.5 games back at 51-46. The NL West, Dodgers hold a commanding lead at 58-39. They're 5.5 games ahead of the Padres, who are 52-44, and the Giants 6 games behind the Dodgers at 52-45. Now that we know where everybody's standing, the Tigers do have a chance to be the first team to 60 wins. That starts with their series against the Rangers. Obviously, normally I would have at least one score for you. Unfortunately, especially due to the All-Star game, which we'll get into in a second, I don't have any scores for you. But they are playing the Rangers, which gives them a favorable chance to be the first team to 60. They would have to lose 2 games, and the Dodgers would have to lose or win 2 games for them to not be the first team to 60. So I'm liking the chances. What we have here is Friday. They took on the Rangers. Olsen was on the mound for the Tigers. Corbin for the Rangers. That's an 8:05 first pitch, and that's down in Texas. 7:05 for later today. They have Rocker on the mound. The Tigers are undecided. And then tomorrow, 7:10 p.m. on ESPN, Skubal will be taking the mound against Ovaldi. And there's a good chance that the Tigers are the first team to 60 wins. Then rolling into next week, the beginning of the week, they're going to be taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. 6:40 first pitches for Monday and Tuesday. A 12:35 p.m. first pitch for Wednesday, the 23rd. Those are all road games in Pittsburgh. And then they're coming back home for a home series against the Toronto Blue Jays, a 4-game series from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 6:40 p.m. on Thursday, 7:10 first pitch on Friday, 6:10 first pitch on Saturday, and 1:40 p.m. first pitch on Sunday. Now it's time to do our obligatory stat leaders. They have not changed since before the break. Zach McKinstry leading the team in batting average at .285. His OBP is .364, slugging percentage of .472. Riley Green leads the team in both home runs and RBIs. He's got 24 homers, 78 runs batted in. He's got a 2.84 ERA or batting average, So he's sitting right behind Zach McKinstry. And come on now, the AL Cy Young winner from last year, the AL Cy Young favorite for this year, a possible MVP candidate, AL starting pitcher of the All-Star game, Tariq Skubal, leading all 3 categories for the Detroit Tigers on the mound. He's got a 2.23 ERA. He's got 10 wins on the year and 153 strikeouts. The ace has continued to dominate on the mound and has shown why he's one of the best pitchers in baseball, if not the best pitcher in baseball, as he's looking to go back-to-back for the AL Cy Young this year. Tigers have great chances to continue pushing to be one of the best teams in baseball. Currently are the best team in baseball. And I'm excited to see what the playoffs have in turn for them. At this point, they're almost a lock for the playoffs. So you have to begin to tailor yourself toward having that thinking of being a playoff team and preparing for a 7-game series, a 5-game series against one team and dominating them to continue your way up the ranks. They have a great opportunity in front of them. But the question will be, will it be able to sustain this through the rest of the season and into the postseason? As long as the injuries stay at bay and the bats keep flying, I see no reason not. The bullpen has been amazing, and I think it will continue to be that way, even with some injuries to Job and others. As long as Casey Mize can remain as effective as he has been, this team has amazing chances to be successful. But I do want to talk about the All-Star game, because why not? As we know, unfortunately, we got absolute fireworks for the All-Star game at the simple fact that it came down to a swing-off. The All-Star game came down to a swing-off. And the NL won the swing off in a tiebreaker 4-3 with a walk-off homer from none other than Kyle Schwarber of the Philadelphia Phillies. So the AL loses a tough one and a never-before-seen home run swing-off at the end of a tie game for the All-Star game. I think this is an amazing change, something that needs to stay because the swing-off was electric. People were all over social media loving the swing-off, and that's what All-Star games are all about, is putting on a show, and the swing-off was nothing but a show. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. The only thing that would have made it better was, the AL winning it, but what do I have to, say about that? You win some, you lose some. But the most important part was it was a fun game. It was an exciting game. And we got to enjoy new parts of the All-Star system that we have never seen before. Cal Raleigh made history as the first catcher to win the T-Mobile Home Run Derby. He defeated 22-year-old Junior Caminero in the finals Monday night. He hit 38 total home runs before the All-Star break. But going in, it was tough. He almost didn't make it out of the first round. He tied for fourth with Brent Rooker for 17 home runs. But his longest was 470.62 feet, which just beat out Rooker's 470.54 feet, allowing him to win the tiebreaker and move on. He would then go on to put on a show in which he took down Caminero. Caminero only had 15 in that final round. And Raleigh put up 17, just enough to win and take home the trophy. That's all we have for this first segment. We're going to come back and we're going to be talking Pistons Summer League and what the team could be look like coming up this year. But that's after the break with more Mitten Madness on 95.3 WBCK. Yeah. Welcome back to Mitten Madness on 95.3 WBCK. Las Vegas Summer League has gotten started up, as it does every summer for the NBA, giving the young guys a chance to get rolling and figure out where their spot is going to be and land a roster spot or rotation spot right away. Now, some guys, lottery picks, the guys in the first round, they know they're getting a spot, and it's just a matter of the coaches catching them up to NBA speed and finding out where their role is going to be on the current squad. Whereas others, it's a chance for them to find their way into rotation, a chance for them to move up from the G League into the NBA, a chance for them to find a spot in the G League to hopefully move their way up the chain, a chance for them to shine there and maybe get picked up by another squad during free agency. Summer League is where the young guns are going at it all summer long, trying to be the best team because you do want to win that Summer League title, but at the same time, showcasing what they can do individually to land themselves a roster spot somewhere in the NBA. Summer League is one of the most exciting times because I think it's some of the most pure basketball that we see. Speaking of pure basketball, the Pistons are still doing Piston things, even in the Summer League. Their first game of Summer League play was against the New York Knicks. They did come out on top 104-86. Off the top of my head, Marjan Beauchamp is the only notable name on this Knicks roster. He had 26 minutes, went 6 for 15 from the field, 0 for 4 from 3, 3 for 5 from the free throw line. He had 2 rebounds, 1 block, 1 turnover, 2 personal fouls, and 15 points. So not bad for Beauchamp, but that's not enough to help the Knicks get a victory. In fact, not even close, especially when you look over and the starters for the Pistons were absolutely doing it. Bobby Klintman playing for 32 minutes, goes 3 for 7, 1 for 3 from the 3 for 4 from the free throw line, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 2 turnovers, 2 fouls, and 10 points. Then you got Ron Holland II, absolutely dominating Summer League right now. He puts up 28 points, 4 fouls, 4 turnovers, a block, 3 steals, 2 assists, and 11 rebounds while going 8 for 13 from the free throw line, 4 for 5 from 3, 8 for 12 from the field overall. Tolu Smith, 6 for 13 from the field, 4 for 7 from the free throw line. He had 11 rebounds as well, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 3 turnovers, 5 fouls, and 16 points. Dennis Jenkins, 22 minutes, 7-11 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, 1 of 1 at the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks, 1 turnover, 1 foul, 18 points. And Chaz Lanier, 25 minutes, 4 for 11 from the field, 2 for 7 from 3, no free throws. He did have 2 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, a block, a turnover, 2 fouls for a total of 10 points. But the entire Pistons starting lineup for this Summer League team was positive on the day. Only Miller Kopp, Zakai Ziegler, and Dawson Garcia were negative. Kopp and Garcia were -4. Ziegler was -1. Everyone else pluses on the day or were DNPs. Pistons had an amazing shooting day against the Knicks, 48.6% from the field, 45.5% from the three-point arc, and 65% from the free throw line. You talk about wanting to win games, you got to be able to shoot at all 3 levels, and the Pistons showing that, at least the young version of the Pistons. So we'll see who cracks the roster and gets an opportunity to play with the big guys who are looking to make another playoff push. Second game of Summer League so far, the Pistons took on the Houston Rockets. Taking a look at the Rockets roster, Cameron Matthews, Reed Shepherd, Kevon Harris, Moses Brown, all pretty significant names. Shepherd, 28 minutes, goes for 18 points, 4 fouls, 6 turnovers, 4 steals, 1 assist, and 3 rebounds, 5 for 6 from the free throw line, 1 for 7 from behind the arc, 6 for 19 overall. Kennedy Chandler, 28 minutes, 5 for 14 from the field, 1 for 3 from the arc, 2 for 4 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 2 turnovers, 5 fouls, 13 points. Kevon Harris, 28 minutes, 6 for 12 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3, 3 for 4 from the free throw line. He had 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 2 fouls, and 16 points, but no turnovers, which is something to keep an eye on. Meanwhile, the Tigers did it again. Bobby Klintman, 3 for 8 from the field, 1 for 4 from behind the arc, 9 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block, 3 turnovers, 4 fouls, 7 points. Ronald Holland II, 15 points, 3 fouls, 1 turnover, 3 steals, 3 assists, and 1 rebound on 3 for 3 from the free throw line, 2 for 6 from behind the arc, and 5 for 12 from the field. 15 points, 4 fouls, 2 turnovers, 1 block, 4 assists, and 12 rebounds on 7 of 8 from the free throw line, and 4 for 7 from the field for Tolu Smith. Dennis Jenkins goes for 23 points, 5 fouls, 1 turnover, 1 block, 2 steals, 6 assists, and 2 rebounds on 6 for 6 from the free throw line, 3 for 4 from the three-point line, 7 of 10 from the field. Chaz Lanier wakes up as well. He had 14, 1 foul, 1 turnover, 1 steal, 2 assists, 3 rebounds on 4 for 11 from behind the arc and 5 for 14 from the field. The starters all go positive. The bench all goes negative. But the shooting splits, once again, were fantastic for the Pistons. 41.2% from the field, 33.3% from behind the arc, and a whopping 95% as they only missed 1 free throw against the Rockets to give them a 98-83 victory. But there is a third game that they've played already in this summer league. This one going against the Minnesota Timberwolves, which, well, let's be honest here, they are on an absolute heater. The Minnesota Timberwolves might be the best team in the summer league. When you look at a few of the names, the big ones, Joan Behringer, Rob Dillingham, Terrence Shannon, but then you also throw in Amari Bailey, looking at what they got Amari Bailey off the bench for 19 minutes, 4 for 9 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3, 3 for 3 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks, 3 turnovers, 2 fouls, and 11 points as he went plus 17 on the day. But then, looking over, Terrence Shannon continues to be arguably the best player in Summer League. 28 minutes, 6 for 9 from the field, 3 for 3 from behind the arc, 9 for 9 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 7 turnovers, 3 personal fouls. But he's got 24 points on the day. Dillingham pours in 16 points, 6 fouls, 4 turnovers, 2 steals, 4 assists, and 1 rebound on 2 for 3 from the free throw line and 7 of 17 from the field. Leonard Miller pitching in his due diligence as well, shooting 8 for 12 from the field, 1 for 2 from behind the arc, 3 for 7 from the free throw line, 8 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 turnover, 1 foul for a total of 20 points. The Pistons didn't quite have the day they had been having, and we'll talk about that. I mean, the shooting split's not great, as we'll talk about it here just to start. 24 of 63 from the field for 38.1%, 7 of 25 from behind the arc, giving us just 28% on threes, and then 18 of 27, 66.7% on free throws. Ronald Holland still had the best game for the Pistons in 33 minutes. He goes 6 of 12 from the field, 1 for 4 from behind the arc, 9 for 10 from the free throw line, as he poured in 22 points, 6 fouls, 7 turnovers, 6 steals, 2 assists, and 6 rebounds on those shooting splits. Tolu Smith, 4 for 7 from the field, 8 of 12 from the free throw line, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 blocks, 1 foul, 16 points. Dennis Jenkins, 5 for 12, 1 for 4 from the 3, 0 for 1 from the free throw line. He's got 11 points, 5 fouls, 2 turnovers, 1 steal, 7 assists, and 3 rebounds. Chaz Lanier also still getting into double digits. He had 12 points, no turnovers, no fouls, 1 block, no steals or assists, and 1 rebound on 4 for 12 from behind the arc and 4 for 14 from the field. I mean, you can't have games like this if you want to be successful, not only just in the Summer League, but in the NBA in general. So that's something they're going to have to keep their eyes on and hopefully make a quick change, because once again, as I said, we're recording this on Thursday, so we're not able to know what the result of their last Summer League game was, which you heard a couple days ago. They take on the Heat, who are 1-2 on the year, or in the summer. Gamecast has the Pistons at a 1.5 favorite opening up. They're now 5.5 point favorites, and they're negative 220 on the money line. Pistons are 2-3 in their last 5, but that's factoring in the finals. Ignore that. Once again, Pistons are 2-1. Heat are 1-2. There's a good chance that the Pistons were able to win that game. Also coming up later today, they're going to be getting into that consolation and playoff bracket. So looking at the standings, the Pistons are probably going to be right outside of that and going to be playing in one of the consolation brackets, which really sucks because I feel like they had an opportunity to slide in there, but they're 2-1. So maybe one more victory could help them 3-1 if they get some help somewhere, but they're going to need some teams to lose, as there are some who are sitting at that perfect 4-0 record. I mean, the Pistons are going to be fun this year regardless of who from this Summer League team makes their way, but I like what we've seen from Chaz Lanier so far as he's integrating himself into the NBA. But most importantly, Ron Holland II and Bobby Klintman have continued to grow. We're going to touch more on the ESPYs when we get back from the break with more Mitten Madness on 95.3 WBCK.
Your roof. Detroit sports fans, Wolverines and Spartans alike. This is your sports show, Mitten Madness, with Jacob Harrison and Da'Jzon Hughes on 95.3 WBCK.
Welcome Welcome back into Mitten Madness on 95.3 WBCK. The ESPYs went down this week, and there were tons of nominees, of course, for every single award, but only one person can win each of them, and there were some that were expected and some that were questionable, some that got people talking on the socials, and some that had everybody going, good, they did it right. But that's what the ESPYs does every single year. So let's talk about who won and what they won and if they should have won it. Best championship performance goes to Simone Biles for the Olympic gymnastics all around. I don't think anyone is going to question that whatsoever. She had a fantastic performance and then went out to win gold in the Olympics. Self-explanatory. We all know how great Simone Biles is. And if you didn't get a chance to see that all-around performance, go look it up on YouTube and tell me it's not one of the most graceful things you have ever seen. Best play of the year goes to Saquon Barkley for the backwards hurdle. Shocker? No, not at all. I think that was probably one of the most gravity-defying, gratifying, insanely athletic things we have ever seen, ever. Not even just in our lifetimes, but ever. I don't think sports have ever seen anything more athletic than that. It was just great, purely. I'm sure we'll see something more athletic soon, but for now, that takes the cake. Best play is good with me. Muhammad Ali's Sports Humanitarian Award goes to Sloane Stephens. I mean, there's not much to be said there. Honestly, I think every time they give out that award, they do a great job of finding someone who deserves to have it. So I have no problems there at all. The best breakthrough athlete goes to Ilona Mayer from U.S. Rugby. I don't know much about her, but she obviously has a huge breakthrough story. So this is not one I saw a lot of controversy on. So I'm going to continue to scroll by. The Capital One Cup winners. UNC on the women's side and Ohio State on the men's side. So basically, you get points for how you do in your conference, how well your academics are, in terms of like your scholar athletes that are making all academic, all conference, how many all conference athletes you have, how many conference championships you have, national championships. All of this matters, and they give a score to the two best, or to each team at every level, and the two best organizations are given that award. This year it's UNC on the women's side and Ohio State on the men's side. The Jimmy V Award for perseverance goes to Kami Shoemaker-Cawley. Well-deserved. She has continued to battle and continued to fight, and I don't see her stopping anytime soon. The Icon Award went to Alex Morgan and Diana Taurasi, both well-deserving of the award. We know what they have done for their respective sports on the women's side, and they deserve these awards, and I know they will continue to be icons in the world. The best athlete for women's sports, Simone Biles from the USA gymnastics team. Are we surprised? Once again, no. The Pat Tillman Award for service goes to Los Angeles County firefighters David Walters and Aaron Reagan. That's also self-explanatory. They're doing all the things of service that should be done. Gatorade Players of the Year, Jane Hendengren and Cameron Boozer. Cameron Boozer absolutely dominated. I don't know much about Jane Hendengren, but if she's on the same lines of Cameron Boozer, she must have been doing what she was supposed to do. Best Comeback Athlete of the Year, Suni Lee from the U.S. gymnastics team. Also, go watch her performance. You'll see the emotion in her performance before and afterward also, and how important this was for her to get back out and make a comeback, and she dominated in doing so at the Olympics. The Billie Jean King Youth Leadership Award goes to Rinchin Tandon, Megan Ramanthan, and Ian Waite. The Arthur Ashe Award for Courage goes to Big O Oscar Robertson as he continues to speak on the fight for economic rights. The best athlete in men's sports went to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander of the Oklahoma City Thunder, which there's no shocker there because he was the MVP and absolutely dominated the NBA in all levels. And then we went on to win an NBA championship. He was definitely one of the best men athletes of the year. The best record-breaking performance goes to Alexander Ovechkin, obviously for breaking the all-time goals leader record, which was held by none other than Wayne Gretzky for forever, and it now belongs to Alexander Ovechkin. Best team, Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, after winning back-to-back Super Bowls, it's hard to believe that anybody else was going to be picked as the best team. That's what happens when you're that good. You get picked as the best overall team in all of sports. There's a chance that they do it for a third time. They could be the best team again next year. The best NBA player, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Obviously, he was the MVP. Best WNBA player is where things got very, very shaky. They gave it to Caitlin Clark. And a lot of people celebrated this and felt like this was true, felt like she was the best player because of the notoriety she brought to the sport and how everybody had their eyes on her, and she did break records as a rookie. But we can't act like she's actually the best WNBA player in the league, can we? I mean, Aja Wilson still exists. Breanna Stewart still exists. Skylar Diggins still exists. Kelsey Mitchell still exists. Aaliyah Boston is still out there. Tina Charles, DeWanna Bonner. The list goes on and on. And I mean, we can even start talking about some rookies because Paige Beckers is out here balling on another level as well. Not sure that Caitlin was the best WNBA player last year. Not sure that she's the best WNBA player this year. I'm not the only one that has these thoughts, but I understand where the other side of the table is coming from. She broke records. She had a fantastic rookie year for all metrics. She has brought notoriety and eyes and vision and money and all types of things to the sport. So it's not that she doesn't deserve it. I just think there are better WNBA players that were already in the league and are continuing to show that they're the best of the best. The best college athlete went to Cooper Flagg. I mean, this could have gone to a number of guys. This is hard to choose. I also think football had a handful of guys. Ryan Williams could have been thrown in there. But it's so tough. A lot of times it goes to basketball just for the impact that one player can have as the best college athlete. On the women's side of things was also Juju Watkins from USC women's basketball. Best athlete with a disability goes to Noah Elliott for para snowboarding. Best NFL player was Saquon Barkley of the Philadelphia Eagles, although he didn't win an MVP, which is interesting. But what do I know about the voting process and how that should or shouldn't work out? The best MLB player, no surprise, Shohei Ohtani from the Los Angeles Dodgers. We can always fight about who the best NHL player is. There's so many of them that make an impact. This year was Leon Draisaitl. Best driver in F1 was Max Verstappen. The best UFC fighter of the year was Merab Dvalishvili. Best boxer, Katie Taylor. Soccer player goes again to Christian Pulisic. And best golfer, Scottie Scheffler, which some people may not have had on their bingo card, but Scottie was absolutely on fire this year, winning multiple majors, multiple tournaments, and there's a reason that he was gifted this ESPY. And then the best tennis player of the year, Miss Coco Gauff, no question. I mean, she was fantastic, and I believe she won the U.S. Open this year. It may have been another tournament that she won, but it definitely was a major. Like I said, most of these people agreed with. I agree with most of these. I think the one that is a little questionable, the two that are a little questionable are Cooper Flagg, getting men's sport college athlete of the year, and then best WNBA player going to Caitlin Clark. I think both of those could have been other options, but those ones do suffice as well. When we come back from the break, we're going to be diving into the picks for the weekend, letting you know how last weekend went for me as well. We got more Mitten Madness coming your way on 95.3 WBCK.
95.3 WBCK.
Welcome back into Mitten Madness on 95.3 WBCK. It's time for the last segment of the show, which is always one of the most fun segments of the show. We're talking the picks of the week, and sometimes I do well and sometimes I don't. Last week was a pretty solid week for me. As you know, we had 8 picks coming in last week because I messed up again on UFC and had the wrong date, so it wasn't until last week. But we got all caught up. I went 1-1 on those 2 fights, and then the Aces won, the Lynx won, the Storm won, and the Liberty won, but both the Valkyries and the Dream lost. So I went 4-2 in my traditional week, which puts me at 5-3, which gets me all the way up to 36-18 on the season. Your boy is doing absolutely fantastic, well above 500. In fact, I'm 18 games above 500, so I'm all doubled up on the scoreboard. I'm feeling good about where I'm going with this. So hopefully this week does not screw me over. I do have 3 more UFC fights going down in the octagon on the list. And yes, I did my due diligence in checking that it was going to be this weekend, later tonight, and not next weekend or another weekend. So we're all set on those UFC fights. We're also going to start on the hardwood in the WNBA. We'll be starting with the Indiana Fever traveling on over to the Barclays Center on the 22nd to take on the New York Liberty. This is an 8 p.m. game. The Liberty are 10-2 at home, 15-6 on the year. The Fever 5-5 on the road, 12-11 on the season. So far, the Liberty are 2-1 in the series. They're going to look to close it out 3-1. Caitlin Clark is a game-time decision. As we know, Jonquel Jones is still out for the Liberty, but is expected to return for this game, as it will be after the All-Star break. The Liberty are 4-1 in their last 5, 5-5 in the last 10. Meanwhile, the Fever 3-2 in their last 5, 6-4 in their last 10. The thing that screams at me is this Liberty game is at home where they are 10-2. That's more than just a coincidence. That's a trend. And trends normally show up on a consistent basis. I'm going to trust the Liberty to win another game at home against the Indiana Fever, as they do have a 74% chance to win, while they're only giving the Fever a 26% chance to win. Our next game on the hardwood is with the Atlanta Dream, who are going on the road to take on the Las Vegas Aces. The Dream are 13-9. They're 5-6 on the road. This game is also on the 22nd. This one's on ESPN at 10 p.m. The Aces, who are 11-11 on the year, 6-4 at home. They're going to be playing this game in Michelob Ultra Arena, where they're very comfortable. They have a 53.8% chance to win this game at home, while the Dream still have a solid 46.2% chance to come out on top. Ryan Howard is out until August 1st, which is a huge loss for this Dream team, as she leads the team in assists and is the initiator for this offense. Jackie Young going to be out as a game-time decision for the Aces, so there's a small chance she plays. And then Shanae Parker-Tyus is out until August 15th. The Aces are 3-2 in their last 5. The Dream are 2-3 in their last 5. 6-4 in the last 10 for the Aces, while the Dream are just 5-5. This is a tough game to call because the Dream have been so good this year, but the Aces are really good at home. Just about half of their wins coming at home. Under half of the Dream wins are coming on the road. I think that's going to be the difference maker for me in this one. Is they've only won 5 games at home, which means they've won 8 games on the road at 13-9, which means they struggle on the road. The Aces, while they have only won 11 games, they've won 6 of those at home, so more than half of their wins are coming at home. I'm going to trust them to pick up another as they take on the Dream. Then we're going to bounce to Thursday the 24th, 7 p.m. The Las Vegas Aces, once again, will be on the road. This time they're 5-7 on the road. They're going to be taking on the 12-11 Indiana Fever, who are 7-6 at home. Both of them do have a game on Tuesday that we've already picked. So in my eyes, the Aces should be coming in at 12-11, and the Fever should be coming in at 12-12. So that should make this a very spicy game, especially if Jackie Taylor and Caitlin Young come back. This game is Caitlin Clark and Jackie Young. Whew, that was weird. Both come back. This is at the Gainbridge Fieldhouse at 7 p.m. They're giving the Fever a 57.5% chance to win this game in comparison to just a 42.5% chance for the Aces. The question is, will Caitlin Clark be on the floor? That changed a lot for this team, and some would argue for the better. Although Caitlin Clark is leading the team with 8.8 assists per game, she is averaging 5.1 turnovers per game, which is near the top of the league. Kelsey Mitchell is the leading scorer for this team at 19.1 points per game, and they have 7.6 rebounds coming from Aaliyah Boston. On the opposite side, you got A'ja Wilson doing A'ja Wilson things. 22.3 points per game, shooting 48.2% from the field, 82% from the free throw line, while also pulling down 9.2 rebounds per game, and almost 2 of those are on the offensive side of the ball. And then she's got help from Chelsea Gray manning the offense with 4.5 assists per game. When we're looking at how these games have played out, they're 1-1 in the series. The home team has won both games. So sadly, I think I'm going to take the home team to win again. As much as I want the Aces to win this game, all the signs are pointing toward the Fever. I don't ignore trends. I don't ignore signs, especially when making picks. So I'm going to roll with the Fever to take down another game here and extend their record to 13-12 while leaving the Aces at a perfect 500 of 12-12. Now that we've gotten through those 3 WNBA games, it's time for us to get into the other 3 picks we got for the weekend. These ones are all going down inside of the octagon. This is UFC 318. We got Holloway versus Dustin Poirier. This is going to be July 19th, 2025. And it's going to be at the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, LA. The early prelims are on ESPN2, ESPN Plus, and Disney Plus at 6 p.m. Prelims, ESPN, ESPN Plus, and Disney Plus at 8 p.m. And your pay-per-view main event card starts at 10 p.m. So before we get to the main event in this fight, which we are going to pick, we're going to get down to the third to last fight. It's the Kevin Holland versus Daniel Rodriguez fight. Kevin Holland's 28-13. He stands at 6'3", 170 pounds, 32 years in age, 81 inches on his reach, and he's got an orthodox fighting stance. He's going against Daniel Rodriguez, who's 19-5, stands 6'1", 170 pounds, 38 years in age, 74 inches on his reach, and fights in a southpaw stance. Kevin Holland comes in at the money line, a 600 favorite, plus 400 on the money line for Rodriguez. Both of their KO numbers are pluses. Same for submissions and points. Over 2.5 is a 160 favorite. They are saying it is no. That's the favorite to go the distance at negative 240. And then the question of the day is, will Daniel Rodriguez be able to get inside of the reach against Kevin Holland? Will Kevin Holland's mouth get him in trouble? These are 2 things we're not 100% sure at, but those are wide margins on the favorites, and that's what's got me pulling my eye toward taking Kevin Holland over Daniel Rodriguez to capture another win inside of the UFC and try and fight his way back up the ranks for a title fight. We're looking at, that's in the welterweight division. Now, the next fight of the night is a middleweight fight. Paulo Costa, 14-4, out of Brazil. Stands 6'1", 185 pounds, 34 years in age, 72-inch reach, and he's got an orthodox fighting stance. He's going to be taking on Roman Kopylov, who's 14-3 from Russia. He stands 6 foot, 185 pounds, 34 years old, 75-inch reach, southpaw in the stance. The question will be, who has better takedown accuracy in this fight? Who has better takedown defense in this fight? Who lands more significant strikes? These are about as even fighters as you can find, considering that Roman is a negative 250 on the money line, while Costa is a plus 200. Obviously, their KO, submission, and points numbers are all positive, except by points for Roman is even. Going over a half round is a favorite. They do say that the fight to go the distance is the favorite for this as well. 14-3, 14-4. These are two very even fighters who are going to go absolutely at it. But Roman does have a slight advantage for a reason, and the Russian fighters have been insane of recent years. So I'm going to run with Roman as well to close things out and grab another victory as he makes his way up the middleweight ranks, which is an insanely tough division to fight in the UFC. It's the lightweight main event. This pay-per-view caps off with Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier for the third time. Holloway is 26-8. He stands 5'11", 145 pounds, 33 years old at 69 inches on the reach, an orthodox fighting stance. Poirier, 30-9. He's from the United States as well, stands 5'9", 155 pounds, 36 years old, 72-inch reach, and he's southpaw. He's plus 110 on the cards. The negative 130 favorite goes to Max Holloway. But the interesting thing about this fight, before we even touch on the fight odds, which honestly we're not even going to look at, Dustin Poirier is undefeated against Max Holloway. He's 2-0. He won the first fight at UFC 143 by submission in the first round, and then he won the second fight at UFC 236 by unanimous decision. The question is, can he take down Dustin Poirier for a third time? Or excuse me, Max Holloway for a third time. It's hard to beat a fighter once. It's hard to beat a fighter twice, but to beat a fighter three times, I'm not sure. I'm going to gamble and take Max Holloway. So I have Holloway, Roman, and Kevin Holland. I also have the Fever, the Aces, and the Liberty. You guys have an amazing weekend. I'm going to have one as well. We'll be back next week talking more Michigan sports on Mitten Madness on 95.3 WBCK.
Join Jacob Harrison and Da'Jzon Hughes every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for Mitten Madness on 95.3 WBCK. Miss the show or want to run it back? Stream Mitten Madness on demand on the WBCK app. Sponsored by AirwayCashForJunkCars.com.
Hi, I'm Sherry Harris, owner of LifeSource Water. Do you know all Bay Area cities add chemicals like chlorine and chloramines to your tap water? At LifeSource, we believe your water should support your family's health. Our whole house system delivers filtered water from every tap, even your showers. For 40 years, we've built our systems right here in California. Upgrade your water today by calling 1-800-WATER-99 or visit LifeSourceWater.com. LifeSource, taste and feel the difference.
Warranty limitations apply.